Hey, what's going on, How Dead Sports fans? This is another rendition of the How Dead Sports Show. This is your host, Paul, along with Austin. What up, dude? How's it going?
Oh, crazy weekend, but we're still here. How are you doing?
You know what? It's been a day. It's been a week. It's only Tuesday. It's been a weekend. It's been something. I mean, you and I just had like a 15, well, a 7 minute powwow on a topic that we'll talk about towards the end that I think we both got fired up on. So th things are good. Things are good. I had really good tacos today.
Ooh, Taco Tuesday. All right.
Yeah,
I see
yeah,
you.
really good tacos today from home.
Ooh,
Home.
okay. All right.
Blackstone's the shit.
I I'm telling you. I've told you for years that it's the best.
So shout out to Blackstone for doing their thing, and shout out to me for making some hellacious tacos. And actually, shout out to Fiesta Market for having really good meat.
Did you do skirt steak?
I don't know, it's some kind of beef that was already prepackaged.
Oh, okay. There you
Yeah,
go.
so it's already good. But skirt steak is good. I do like skirt steak tacos though. And then we had some chorizo too. My daughter lo
Ooh,
my daughter loves chorizo.
ooh, throw that in. Ooh, oh yeah. Okay.
And
Mm,
then I sauteed some peppers and onions,
hmm.
and then put some butter on top of them with some taco seasoning.
Saute that up.
Oh, so
Oh,
good.
and it was beautiful outside,
Oh
so
yeah, yeah,
oh,
yeah,
just made for an excellent evening.
yeah. See, I'm starting to get into that mood where because it's starting to get warmer, where I'm want to cook more.
Hmm.
So, like in a couple weeks, my niece is getting married. I don't know, she's not. Well, eventually she'll be getting married, but my niece is graduating from college,
Hmm.
and they're going to be throwing a graduation party for her Mother's Day weekend. And I asked my brother if I could cook for her, if I can cook, because I'm starting to get into that
It's that
mode
time of
again.
the year, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, pretty awesome, pretty awesome, pretty awesome. But that's not why people tune in, even though they do enjoy when we talk about food and all this other stuff. So the Chicago Bears had, or the NFL had the draft this past weekend.
Yes, they
Uh,
did.
can I just say this? I remember back in the day, in my day, um, the first round used to be 15 minutes long
Per pick. Per pick.
per pick. That sucked, by the way.
So I really want to say something real quick. They did a comparison between this draft and Roger Goodell's first draft. This
Hmm.
draft was like 2:45. I think it was like 2 hours and 45 minutes for the first round. I think that's incredible. That was moving.
And honestly, that's the length of a football game
The first round of the draft in 2007 was like 6 hours and 7 minutes in
because
total.
because every pick what took 15 minutes.
And God forbid there was a trade.
Yes, yes. So the fact that I think it was 8 minutes per pick in the first round.
Yes, it was.
So I mean, it also didn't help either that the Bears were picking later.
Well, this is the first time in how many years that we got
Yeah,
a pick that late?
yeah. So I mean, since 2000,
What?
oh
2019? No, can't even be 2019. We didn't have a first round pick.
yeah, so yeah, so
The latest of the 20s, I think, is when we drafted Justin Fields at 11, but we traded up to 11.
from 12.
No, it was like 20 or something.
Was it 20?
Yeah, it was something
Okay,
like that.
yeah. So yeah, so that was pretty nice. That the first round was over a little before 10 o'clock. That was great.
Yeah, I still had, I don't know, like 6, 8 hours of work to go, but that
Yeah,
started off the work day real nice.
yeah, yeah. So, The Bears had 7 picks. We'll kind of go over the picks. What are your initial thoughts on the Bears draft?
Okay, realistically, the initial thought, especially in the first 3 rounds, confusion.
That seems to be the buzzword. Yeah,
I was confused, a little angry initially, but again, initial reactions. I kind of dropped it back. Um, Went down, thought the first round pick, Dylan Thieneman, beautiful. Home run. Wasn't even on my radar because he was supposed to be gone. We came away with an absolute steal, I believe.
I agree.
Um, and then we got Logan Jones in the second, competing for starting center. Um, Even if he doesn't play this year, he'll be able to learn, get a hold of the offense, get going, and then he could be potentially our center for the next 10 years, barring some magical retirement. Um, it was specifically that third round pick,
Which one?
Roush. Roush. It confused me until I read up on him a little bit. Then it made a lot of sense to me. My initial thoughts were when they got Roush that I thought Cole Kmet's days as a Chicago Bear would be done.
I actually still believe that, but may not be for this year.
I think trade deadline, depending on how we're doing. But it's not, it's not, that's not necessarily why I think that. The reason why I believe that it could end up being a good pick is he was widely regarded as the number one blocking tight end in the draft. A guy who's ready to go out there and be able to at least hold his own a little bit against these NFL defensive ends. 13 personnel is going to be insane. If we keep all three of our tight ends, Cole, Colston, and Roush, 13 personnel is going to run absolutely wild in this offense. Because again, Roush being the excellent blocker that he is, for tight end standards. Cole Kmet isn't a slouch when it comes to blocking. He's not the best, but he's not a slouch.
Oh
And
no, he's definitely gotten better since he was drafted in 2017, 2018. Yeah, he's definitely gotten so much better.
and again, Colston Loveland, everybody knows him as that pass catcher, fast, you know, just the deep threat tight end type deal. But we
Hmm.
also forget he played in the Big Ten. They run the football down there. He knows how to block. We have I would say three solid blocking tight ends at the very least. It's going to be interesting. There's going
Yeah.
to be a lot of 13 personnel set up where you're going to run, run, run. Then all of a sudden you're going to get a play action and you're going to hit one of the monsters over the top. It's going to be insane.
Hmm.
Um, and then the later rounds just kind of filling up defense. Uh, only question that I really had is why didn't we take a defensive tackle until the 6th round or 7th round?
Yeah, it was a 6th round, and actually the Jordan Vanderberg, I actually do like. Um, yeah, he was second in the ACC when it came to tackles for loss. I actually like that in my defensive tackle, so I was like, oh, okay, that one that one I'm okay with.
I thought he was well, he was second in was it total tackles for loss?
Yeah, total tackles for loss. He had 11.
His average depth of tackle was like negative 1.2 yards.
A disruptor. That's
It,
what they needed. That's what they needed.
absolutely.
So, like for me, I agree with you. The Thieneman pick for me, no brainer. I said I kind of liked it just because it filled a need. It goes with Dennis Allen's scheme, having two safeties along with Kobe Bryant that can play the same. And I like that. So plus, I mean, every one of these draft picks that I've noticed, and especially when I did my research, um, are just athletic as hell. And for me, having that speed element, especially at the safety position, is a good thing. But um, I was very happy with that particular pick. The Logan Jones pick, um, that's a position of need. You needed a center, and I felt like getting probably the best center in the draft made sense. Um, my thing is, if it's going to be a second round pick, I think he should at least battle for a starting spot and and ultimately win that. He should be, he should be playing meaningful snaps on week one, in my honest opinion. Garrett Bradbury is only here for a year. He's going to be here for, if everything goes according to plan, you know, for at least 8 years, unless some team wants to treat him like Tyler Lindenbaum and pay him some insane amount of money. So, you know, and then we get to the tight end. This is the one where I kind of question because I felt like there was some defensive linemen there that kind of fit what they were looking for. But just like you said, the more you read into it, the best blocking tight end in the draft, they run a lot of 13 personnel. Um, my only concern is that you could have picked up a a tight end off the street for that because you did the exact same thing last year with Durham Smythe. But if you're going to go that route, I understand this could be a replacement for Cole Kmet. They just restructured his deal. Next year, when if they do decide to move off from Cole Kmet, the dead cap is, as far as I remember, it won't be as bad. So that I understand. The one pick that I did not like because I felt like it was a I'm going to show my nuts pick, and which is fine, was the wide receiver. E- Everything that they said about this wide receiver was the exact same thing that was said about Velus Jones Jr. when he was drafted in 2022.
And we know all about Velus Jones.
Yes. Now, could he be better than Velus Jones Jr.? Absolutely. Absolutely. But this is for me when you're talking about, well, he's gonna be a return specialist. You can get the ball to him in space. He could take a top off a defense. He runs a 4.28. Well, Velus Jones ran a 4.31.
And again, I love me personally, I love seeing the 40 speeds because they're really cool. You know, they're an interesting topic to have that conversation about. But let's be honest, the, the speed on the 40 doesn't necessarily translate to the field or translate to being a good football player.
Now, I've heard the argument of, well, got the new kickoff rules now, and then if you have this guy back there, if they kick it out of bounds and get it at the 40, if he runs it back, you can get some good yardage with that. Well, if you have a good special teams coordinator, they can figure that out.
If it's possible, I'd love to see it. If the kid is able to translate the speed onto the field, absolutely. Kickoff specialist, cool. Our kickoff wasn't anything spectacular last year.
No, it wasn't. I just felt like this is one of those where it's one of those picks of of arrogance, and I don't know if the Bears are at that point where they should be arrogant.
It's it's showing more reason that Ben Johnson is really leading this team.
Which lead and well, that's my question I want to ask. The Malik Muhammad, I love that pick. Absolutely love the pick. He's going to come in and he's going to compete um, with Tyreek Stevenson. I do want to get him, see him under Al Harris. Keyshawn Elliott, another pick that I like just because of his speed and his being able to attack the ball. But all
Keyshawn's a linebacker, right?
Yes, yep,
Yes.
yep.
Okay.
And then we talked about Jordan Vanderberg, how I liked that pick as well. I do think that there are a couple things that played a part in this in terms of this draft that I don't think well, at least one thing I know people are not really talking about. The first thing is that I really think that the Drew Dahlman retirement really effed up the Bears' plans.
Without a doubt.
Um, you know, people in the building can be happy that the dude is leaving in terms of you're healthy, stuff like that. But at the end of the day, you're going to be looking at the fact that, dude,
We had
we
an
don't
all
have,
pro center.
yeah, we had an all pro center. Now we don't have that anymore.
You know, going into last year when we had the whole offensive line the way that it was going into the season and stuff, you kind of look at the line and you go, well, the thing that sucks is Joe, the first one that's going to leave is going to be Joe Tooney. He's going to be
Yeah,
gone in about 3 years.
yeah,
You get 1 year out of Drew Dahlman, like everyone said, massive surprise, but happy for him for getting out, wanting to stay healthy. Um, hopefully he lives a great, long, healthy, happy life. But that absolutely screwed over the Bears' plans.
yes. And I think the other thing that really screwed up the Bears that people are not really talking about now is not getting that extra third round pick from Ian Cunningham when he went to be the general manager of the Atlanta Falcons. Because
Yeah, because that would have been two. That would have been two, right?
yeah, you would have to have two twos, two threes, and you could have moved up. Use one of those twos, one of those threes to move up in the second round. Because I truly believe that the Bears were going to take Gabe Yakis, the edge rusher from Illinois, but he was taken 2 picks ahead of the Bears at 55.
Yeah, I did remember seeing that. But that specifically just reminded me. And again, I think this is one of the most funny, ironic things. They had the Heinz 57 pick, right?
Oh yeah, yeah, that's what Logan Jones was.
Logan Jones, big center, gets a lifetime supply, whatever the hell lifetime supply means, a
Hmm.
lifetime supply of ketchup to a city that doesn't put ketchup on hot dogs.
I heard, yeah, that's true. That's true.
I I got a great kick out of that.
Yeah, yeah. And I am a Bears fan that hates ketchup, by the way.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
I like
yeah.
I like I like ketchup on my fries, on my burgers.
Nope,
Leave it off my
barbecue
hot
sauce
dog.
for me. Barbecue sauce for me.
I hey hey, different strokes for different folks.
Yeah. If I see a person put ketchup on a hot dog, I'm smacking out of their hands.
I immediately think they're a child.
Yeah, yeah. Like you're a grown adult still eating ketchup. What is wrong with you?
But like I said, I thought that was incredibly funny. And quite frankly, my other thought going into the draft was, look at how we did last year. I mean, a bunch of really solid picks made a lot of impact, but that's the mixture of Ben Johnson and Ryan Polks. I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt because you can't you can't judge these guys when they haven't even sniffed a football field in the NFL.
No, no, and actually, if we go back to the point about the Heinz 57 with Logan Jones, I found out today that he put ketchup on his tacos.
That's got to be the whitest thing I've ever heard.
I,
Oh
I
my
I
god.
I think I read that he puts ketchup on his hot dogs.
I
I'm
I
sorry, tacos, excuse me.
I feel offended for my girlfriend. who happens to be Mexican. I'm offended for her. That just doesn't sound right. And also, I do want to uh go back to Dylan Thieneman.
Hmm.
Um, that's one for these guys, one for the white guys. We got another one in the NFL.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, oh, 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 yeah, yeah. You don't find very many white safeties.
No, but we're doing it.
What you don't find very many white safeties that run 4-2 or 4-3.
And who is just an absolute athletic freak.
Yeah, no, I like I said, that's a pick that I absolutely love. I am going to enjoy watching him play. It's just that, that that not really addressing the pass rush. And there were some things that even Ryan Poles and even Ben Johnson said during their press conference where he talked about, well, if you have a good secondary, you can mix up coverages, force the quarterback to hold on to the ball a little bit longer. Okay, that's all fine and good. You know what I personally like in my defense? I want angry men, whether you're black or white, standing on top of a quarterback's head. That's what I want. I that that
Completely
I
understandable.
I want waves of angry defensive linemen sitting on top of a quarterback's head. That's what I
Would be
want.
very nice. That would be very
Yes.
nice. And I think another reason, again, just kind of thinking out loud here, I think another reason that they didn't necessarily address specifically the edge rusher is because of the amount of money that's in that room already.
Well, they got a lot of bad money. That they got
It,
a lot of they got a lot of bad money.
but I think there is still promise there.
With
Montez, me
Montez Sweat is
specifically,
Montez Sweat is Montez Sweat.
but he's about a middle upper tier edge rusher. Not bad, not great. I would say upper middle class.
Okay.
Dio Adabingo, he's motivated. He's ready to go. Regardless of that, I have a lot of stock put aside for Austin Booker.
See, and that's the one that people are waiting for, but he's a fifth round pick, right?
His big problem is that he's streaky.
You know,
That's his problem is he's streaky.
if
He'll have a game where he gets 2 sacks and then he won't sniff the quarterback for 3 games.
well, and that's the thing. That's why you need to go out and find that dude. If Austin Booker's that dude, great. That's awesome. But right now, you don't have that dude. And just
No.
like you said, there's tons of money. There's $42 million between Dio and Grady Jarrett.
Oh, and I wasn't even considering the big men,
There's
the one and
42 million
threes.
there's $42 million between and then on top of that, you also have Jervon Dexter, who's been fine. He's been okay, but he's I still say he's not a defensive tackle. That's just me.
He he's improving as a pass rusher. I still love him on the run. I still think he's really good on the run.
Yeah, I don't think he's a pass rusher. I don't think he has the quick get off to be, I'm sorry, a defensive tackle. I think he's a defensive end. Actually, I think he would be a perfect defensive end in Dennis Allen's scheme.
Could be.
Perfect, perfect. But there was something that I heard that, Ben Johnson's like, well, we're going to coach them better, but then in the same breath, basically saying, oh, we like their where they were going before certain guys that got hurt, like Shamar Turner and Dio got hurt. I'm like, okay, which one is it? Either either you're going to coach them better, or why are you going to coach them better if you like their trajectory before they got hurt? So which one is it?
Well, I mean, somebody like Shamar Turner, you didn't even really get to see him play.
No, and that's the thing. Like, I like Shamar Turner when they drafted him.
He is a second round pick,
Yeah.
so you do have to invest into him.
He was the third of the second round picks last year because
Yeah,
it was Ozzie
Luth,
Trapillo,
Luther
no, no,
Burden.
Luther Burden, Ozzie Trapillo, and then Shamar Turner.
Yeah, it, and Trapillo, he's done what he's done. Luther Burden is now the number two, arguably number one. So again, you have stock put into these guys. They're progressing very well. Let's just see what Shamar does with a full year of hopefully no injuries.
Yeah, and the thing with Dio is the fact that I mean the dude's coming off an ACL. I'm sorry, what's it? ACL or torn Achilles?
It was an Achilles.
That's his second one.
Well, I mean, I don't think anybody really enjoyed that pickup when we got him originally.
No,
It was a
because you
lot of
no,
money.
there's a lot of money.
It was a
There's
lot
a
of
lot of
money
money.
for somebody who a lot of people who went around the league just said,
Huh?
"Who?"
Right.
So I when it comes to that, unfortunately, I think we'll just have to see.
Yeah.
But not a
So
lot of high hopes on that, at least.
so which leads to my question. And this is something I've kind of thought about actually probably since the end of the regular season. And I've been hearing this term used a lot more, especially when it came to free agent signings and draft picks. I trust Ben Johnson. Here's my question. What has Ben Johnson done besides not be Matt Eberflus or Mark Trestman or even Matt Nagy to earn the Bears fans' trust? From
He
my
won a playoff game.
okay,
None of the other coaches have won a playoff game. You know, Matt Nagy made the playoffs,
okay.
lost the game. Um, my my first instinct or thought on that is one, he won a playoff game.
Hmm.
Two, he's not necessarily a buddy buddy coach, which is what we've had in the past. You know, the last time we've had a good head coach, he's been a hard ass. Lovey Smith was a hard ass. Ben Johnson, I think, is a hard ass. He gets on his team. Um, and again, it's the fact that we went from what was our record 2 years ago? Like 5-12
Hmm.
to 12-5 or 11-6 and a playoff win. Not just a playoff win, but a playoff win against the Green Bay Packers.
So do you think
It,
if do you think the trust would have been there if they would have lost to the Packers in the playoff game?
not to this degree.
Okay. Okay.
Not to this degree.
So your thinking is that because of the culture that he has established since he's been here, and the fact that the Bears went from one of the laughing stocks in football to be one of the darlings in football, but also having one of the top young, well, one of the young quarterbacks, up and coming young quarterbacks in the league, and they beat a rival the way that they did
Twice.
twice. Is it more trust or the benefit of the doubt?
I I would have to probably say it's a little bit of both
Okay.
because again, like I said, it's the fact that he came in and it was instant success. Granted, the way that we were winning and everything, it was not sustainable, and it showed when we ended up playing the Rams. But again, you look back at that Rams game, the Rams played a perfect football game, and we lost in overtime.
Okay.
They are a better team,
Okay.
but it's again, it's the fact that Ben Johnson came in, immediately established a culture, immediately got to work, and immediately turned the team around. And you can tell he established a culture because of some of the first things that he did. He went out and got offensive linemen. He went out and wanted to completely flip that the weakest part of the Bears for ever and wanted to establish that as a powerhouse. Did that completely changed the narrative on the Chicago Bears. And like I said, just the immediate success, the winning, beating who we beat. And, you know, the benefit of the doubt is, hey, it's still year two. How are you going to top last year?
Well,
And it's
I
it's
mean, you
the,
topped last year by getting to the NFC Championship game and ultimately winning the Super Bowl.
do you, do you sit here and believe that the Bears could do it this year?
I don't know.
All right, fair
I
enough.
mean, I mean, I'm just being honest. Like, I don't know it, because I don't know what that defense is going to be. I,
And
I have,
again,
I have a pretty good idea that the Bears are going to score points and would probably win games 42-38. But can
now
you win a Super Bowl like that?
now my question is, because this kind of popped into my head as we were having this conversation, and I kind of saw it online, didn't want to believe it, but the more that we've talked, the more I kind of thought about it. Do you think the Bears are turning into the Bengals 2.0?
It, in terms of how,
Not necessarily how the team, not necessarily how like contracts and everything are structured, but it's the fact that, hey, we may give up 40, but we're going to score 41.
honestly, that could be the case. I mean, hell, I mean, I even saw some comparisons to, especially how the Bears have been drafting, comparisons to how the Eagles were under Chip Kelly, how all they did was go after athletes, not necessarily football players. I don't necessarily buy that argument because I do think the Bears, for the most part, drafted really good football players.
That happen to
Um,
be really great athletes.
happen to really be great athletes. Um, but yeah, you can probably make the argument that at least right now on paper there probably are the Bengals just because of um how their offense is and how their defense is a unknown right now.
And again, I'm not saying out here that Caleb Williams is Joe Burrow or Luther and Rome are Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. I'm not saying that at all, but it's just the structure of the team as a whole.
Oh, well, here's the thing. I mean, we're going to see situations where 65% of the resources are going to be put into the offense just because of how the coach is. And just wait until next year when Caleb signs that extension.
It's depending on what kind of step he takes. And I do believe it depends on the steps that he takes. It, it's going to be a lot of money.
Oh, you and I talked before. I can see him getting 600 million.
He's going to break the bank.
Yeah,
They're going to back up the Brinks truck.
yeah. Which is why you've noticed that the Bears haven't really, number one, restructured any contracts like they normally do. Number two, the Bears are not really spending that much money
Their
because they
free
know,
agents weren't a lot.
yeah, because one, they got a wide receiver and a quarterback coming up for an extension coming up in a year and a half or two. And then you know what else they got to do too? Pay for a stadium.
That I so sick of that. Oh,
So guess what? When Adam Schefter says, and I know he said it tongue in cheek, that the Bears are broke, and I know fans are wearing a hoopla over that. Compared to most NFL teams, the Bears are
well, and we've had this conversation before. They're not a Jerry Jones. They're not a Waltman. The owners of a lot of most of the other football teams have outside money that they can
Jeffrey Lurie.
funnel into a football team. The
Yeah,
Bears, the Bears ownership have football money. That's it. That is all the money they have is from football.
yeah,
So it makes it tough to have like those kind of conversations and everything and see it hopefully actually turn out well. So it's interesting because You're right. Not that they're broke. Again, we're still talking about a billionaire.
No, no, no. I think in relation to their peers,
Oh yeah, they're 32nd. They
yeah,
have the least amount of money.
in relation to their peers, here, if you want to put, if you want to compare bank accounts between, just say, Jerry Jones and the McCaskey family, compared,
It's laughable.
yeah, compared to, you know, Jerry Jones, the Bears are broke.
Yes. Yes.
Are they broke in the sense of they're still $1 billion franchise or $1 billion franchise? They got money, but but
Compared to their
Jerry
peers.
compared to their peers, they don't have much.
No. So again, that's just another question. And it and how do the Bears try to make more money? By winning,
Yeah,
by selling tickets, by shit, not even selling tickets, by selling merch, by getting on primetime games, just exposing the Bears brand as a whole.
yeah, yeah. I mean that's a the Bears brand within itself is it's huge. Bears fans travel well, like especially when they're even when they're bad, they travel well.
I mean, it doesn't matter if they're good, bad, or indifferent. You go to Soldier Field and you hear it, it's still loud.
Yeah. See, and this is why I made the argument once before. I think you and I had this conversation too about how I've always felt like the Bears are the most important team in Chicago,
It's
or at
not
least,
even close.
and that's why I've always felt that whoever the quarterback was, and especially if that quarterback is good to great, particularly if he's great and he wins multiple Super Bowls and is the best at his position in this city,
He will
in the
be
Chicago,
revered as a god.
yes, even more so than Michael Jordan, and I will die on that hill with that.
The trick to that is he has to win multiple Super Bowls.
Yes, he can't just win one; he has to win multiple, multiple.
If he wins one, he will still be revered as a god, but it won't be in that same light of Jordan.
No,
If he
no,
wins, even if he
multi.
wins two,
If he wins two, he's up there.
he
He,
it rivals
it rivals, absolutely,
it
absolutely.
rivals your Jordans, your Peytons, your Ditkas, just the people that we hold dear.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know how we know? Because we still hold the '85 Bears close. I was 5 years old during the '85 Bears.
I was negative 15.
Yeah. The only way I remember that game is because my aunt and uncle had the game taped, and I used to watch it every time I went over to their house for the summer. And we had the Super Bowl shuffle on vinyl.
Which is still fantastic.
Yeah. So so continuing our NFL talk before we switch over to some basketball. Um so we talked about this a little bit before we went live. Um Diana Rossini and Mike Vrabel. I I've been debating on how I wanted to touch this just because
So was Mike. I'm sorry.
yeah, yeah. I mean, when I first saw it, I was just kind of like, really, dude? I mean, don't get me wrong. She's pretty cute, but I'm like, I mean, you got to be careful. Um, and and I know she resigned. I think I read somewhere where her contract was going to be up anyway, so she just resigned. I think I read that correct. So it made sense. When you and I talked, and I made the comment that she's under the most scrutiny just because of her profession, and that you had to be a little careful about what you do. And I don't necessarily think he's under he's under pressure, but he's not under
as much.
professional pressure, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
Just because he's a football coach and most players don't really care what you do outside of your personal space as long as you're not, messing around with um their their time of trying to prepare as long as you are the same person you're trying to sit up here and get your team prepared to play on Thursday, Saturday or Sunday. And that's kind of where I'm at. And I think when like I said when you and I talked, prior, I went because once again people who I've talked to, you know, things that I've read or things that I've heard said Mike Vrabel should be fired. My question is why? Like what clause did he break in his contract that said that he should be fired? Now
and
it
and and again, we touched on this before we went live. Um, Outside of adultery, there there has not been anything seen that is football wrong. Um, is it morally wrong? Absolutely.
Yeah.
It is morally wrong. Is it affecting the team in any way? As far as we know, as far as what we've seen, no. Had he leaked locker room stuff or leaked just different potential workings inside of the franchise, that would be a different conversation.
Or honestly, if there's a situation where in his contract he said you can't fraternize with with outside forces, then okay, then you can do that. Or you have, I mean, we touched on it with some of the other situations um where you can't mess around with subordinates.
Exactly. Um, and I got one thing on the people that think Vrabel should be fired. He won't be.
No, he won't be.
Not just because, as of right now, from all the information that we now have, he has not done anything wrong in the organization. But also, you got to remember the guy just made the Super Bowl on a year where they were supposed to be better, but not gone to the Super Bowl.
Right.
He's not going anywhere.
Here, I know people want accountability for Mike Vrabel. You know who's going to show him, you know who's going to keep him accountable?
Who?
His wife,
Oh, shit. Yeah. It's very true.
his kids. You know what's going to keep him accountable? The Because he's a public figure and the fact that you made a fool out of your wife and kids about what you did, that right there is probably worse than any firing.
And again, you also have to question it too, because like we had talked before, this isn't the first time.
Right. Dude, it's the embarrassment of it. It's the shame that you bring to your family.
You
That
know,
that's that's worse.
and
That's worse.
they were caught 6 years ago and it wasn't a big thing.
Yeah, made a
Now it
playlist.
is. And,
She made a playlist.
and then the Titans lost four in a row.
Right.
Coincidence?
Yeah. But yeah, I mean that's kind of where I'm at. I mean, even if you go look at some of these other scenarios where people were talking about and they brought up Sharon Moore, I was like, well, the dude tried to kill himself. That's why. And plus he was banging banging a subordinate. Same thing with Ime Udoka. I'm more mad at Ime Udoka because he because he cheated on Nia Long.
and and the one thing that I was going to say earlier, that I was going to wait for now, um specifically with Diana, it kind of, in a very small way, it kind of reminds you of the Joy Taylor situation
Yeah, yeah,
in Diana's case, necessarily. But again, it's still one of those where you go, eh, that was bad look.
yeah. Look, it's a horrible look. It's a horrible look, and he's gonna have to deal with it. They're both gonna have to deal with it.
And Diana is going to get professionally, Diana has been professionally criticized and
As she
I
should
guess
be.
I guess
As she
slandered
should
for
be.
this now.
Yeah,
Now the
she'll be
question,
she'll be
this
fine.
won't this won't come back to light until the season. If the
No,
Patriots are not what they are or what they should be,
oh,
then the questions again
if
will
the
start.
Patriots are bad, Vrabel will be fired. If they go 13-4 again and have a deep playoff run, no one would care.
If they make the playoffs, I
If
don't
they
think
make the
anyone will care.
playoffs, no one would care.
Nope. But again, it's the fact of if the team slips, then it'll get brought up again, and then questions will start seriously
Yes.
being
And
asked.
at that point, you revisit it. But as of right now, there's no indication that's going to happen.
Exactly.
But that's just our opinion. Who are we?
Exactly.
Yeah. Moving on. Um, dude, I've been really enjoying the NBA playoffs. I've been to see what the Magic are doing right now in terms of being up 3-1 against the Pistons, seeing what the Timberwolves are doing, even though I think the Timberwolves are in trouble, um, just because Dante DiVincenzo is out for the remainder of the playoffs. Anthony Edwards is out for a few weeks. Shout out to Ayo Dosunmu for having a really good playoff performance the other day with 43. Um, um, but I've been enjoying that, and it always leads back to what the Bulls are doing in terms of their GM search. So they hired a search firm to come up with candidates. They think they had like 6 or 7 candidates that um, they originally interviewed. I think one dropped out, which is fine because he's a um, he's an agent, and I don't know if I really want an agent running my team. Um, but but the fact that the the candidates that are coming back for second interviews all have this vast backgrounds in scouting, analytics, um, salary cap, how to maneuver the salary cap. That as a fan just lets me know that at least ownership, particularly Michael Reinsdorf, finally figured something out. And I know that people are not happy that John Paxson is involved. Well, John Paxson is kind of like the last person who did it successfully. So, like for me, when I look at this and I look at the candidates um, who are who are in the second part of this, you got Matt Lloyd, the Timberwolves GM. You got Bryson Graham from the Hawks. Dennis Lindsey, I'm not uh, you know too too familiar with, but there's one name that I'm really fascinated with, and that's Dave Lewin. He's the assistant GM for the Celtics, and just reading some of his backstory about how he's basically a nerd, but he's worked his way up to from like analytics to like scouting to just being their assistant GM, and but also being part of a process that would um, help in terms of player development. Like the Bulls have the Windy City Bulls here, right? I think that that's just a cash cow right now.
More than likely.
Yeah, but but the Celtics being able to use their G League affiliate as a stepping stone for to get some of their players up and running, but then also how they drafted. I mean, I'm watching the game the other night and Peyton Pritchett is going off. You got Matt Garza, who um who
Matt Garza, Iowa legend.
yeah, yeah, who, was a I think it was a top 20 draft pick, really bounced around, found himself with the Celtics. Now he's playing meaningful minutes. Sam Hauser.
Um, in regards to all that, the one name that I've been seeing the most is Matt Lloyd.
in
Um,
in which I'm actually okay with. If the Bulls hired Matt Lloyd, I'm fine with it. I'm actually, yeah. That's
and
the name when we first talked. That's the name that I said that would be the favorite.
and and I believe he is. I think mostly for the part that he did work for the Bulls for an extended period of time. I think it was 15 years he was with the Bulls in some capacity. I don't
Hmm.
remember exactly what the capacity was, but um, if you were to get the guy from the Celtics, again, just look at the comparison between the Chicago Bulls and the Boston Celtics in the last 5 years. Granted, I can't even say they got lucky, but they kind of got a little lucky. They ended up drafting what the fifth best player in basketball in
Well, you can
Jason
make the
Tatum
you can make the argument they have two top 10 players.
at least this year.
Yeah,
I mean,
And Tatum and Brown. And
but they
by the way, in back-to-back years. So, and I'll let you finish your point. Like, you know how I always talk about how within the past 25 years, there's only been maybe, five players within the top five that have led their original teams to championships.
and those are two of them.
Those are two of them.
It's insane.
Yeah.
Um, but regardless of it, the construction around that whole team has always been good. They've always competed. They may have underperformed at times, but they also have won a championship in the last couple of years. And a lot of it is down to roster construction and development.
Well, it's not even just players. Just look who they're Missoula. Joe Missoula started out
Amazing coach.
started out in the G League, and now he's you know possibly could win two championships in the past 3 years.
Considered one of the best coaches in the league,
Yeah, yeah.
which
Players.
again, you kind of have to give him Joe Mazzulla that nod because look at what he did without his, at this point, arguably best player for most of the
Well,
year.
and shout out to Brad Stevens for winning Executive of the Year. Um, but the fact that they were able to that they lose Jason Tatum, they made some decent trades. I mean, they traded Drew Holiday, and they got Anthony Simons, who they eventually trade Anthony Simons to the Bulls for Vooch. But I mean, Anthony Simons was coming off the bench and giving them some steady points, um, with some consistent minutes. But just the fact that they were able to manipulate the cap and get up under the luxury tax, um, you know, was and especially to stay competitive, dude. It's amazing what this group what they did.
And doing all that with two super maxes on the team.
That's another good point because you have to finagle that shit too.
You know, again, two super maxes staying under the luxury tax. That's insane. The salary cap in any sport is a joke. It does not exist if you have the right people.
Yeah, yeah. And I think another thing is going to play into this too. I know it's something that Michael Reinsdorf talked about was trying to get ahead of curves. We're going to see what's going to happen when they finally vote and approve on this new lottery structure.
I- So I went to go read the article that you sent me.
Yeah.
They ended up taking it down, so I couldn't even read it.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's going to be interesting because 16 teams that they're taking two other teams that didn't make the playoffs but made the play in and kind of flatten the odds. Basically, if you give a damn, you're going to get a ping pong ball.
Hmm.
And
I yeah.
and and they're not going to reward um I hate to not necessarily mediocrity, but just blatant tanking.
It's bad for the sport. It's bad for the league. It's bad for the teams. And the conversation around people is that like the players don't want to lose.
Our players
Players
don't want to lose.
aren't
Organizations
going
want to
out there
lose.
to lose. So it's
Organizations want
like
to. Look, um, one of my favorite basketball podcasts is Organization Wins Championships with Dan Bernstein and his son Jason. But there should be another podcast called Organization Tanks. So I mean, because that's what they do. I mean, you know, you got players. I mean, I think it was the Utah Jazz were fined, a lot of money for basically not playing their star players in the fourth quarter.
I think it was a couple 100,000, if I remember correctly.
That's nothing for franchises.
No, it's nothing, but it's enough that the average person will sit there and go, damn.
Yeah. Well, I've said before, if you want to stop tanking, I mean, you can do what they're trying to do now, or you fine them money, or you take away draft picks, or you take away, or you lower their odds. Actually, that's another way you can. If they wouldn't have done this, and you got teams who are flat out tanking, just lower their odds a little bit.
That'll that'll make them think.
So if you're a team that has the worst record in the NBA and you're basically doing it on purpose, instead of you having 14% odds, your odds are just going to be the same as, let's say, the team that's the ninth who has the nice worth odds.
Mhm. And and that will make organizations sit back and go, hey, hold on.
Yeah, because the whole point of the lottery, especially the new one, is try to make, especially those teams that don't want to spend money or just can't spend money. And you and I have had this conversation about how I don't believe that the luxury tax is the end all be all. But this is why I'm hoping that whoever comes in here, builds up the infrastructure of the basketball side. The business side of the Bulls, booming, booming. But
It's
build
a
up,
worldwide brand.
yeah, but build up the basketball side.
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
100% agree.
so, anything else on the Bulls and their GM search and or the NBA in general before we move on?
Um, One thing I will say, I'll have to agree with you. This is historically one of the best first rounds in a very long time.
It's been fun.
Um, One of my favorite series to take a look at has been the Atlanta Hawks and the New York Knicks because they've basically been going back and forth,
Hmm.
which again, you look at a lot of these series and everybody was like, okay, there's going to be a bunch of 5 game series, a 6 game series here. I really do hate to say it, but watching what LeBron and the Lakers are doing against the Rockets, again, still incredible. Not as incredible because the Rockets are now facing other injuries and stuff too, but it's still incredible that they're going as well as they are without two of their top 3 guys. Um,
Yeah, but they're gonna get their ass kicked by OKC in the second round.
and again, the second round is still where I'm. excited about. I still think that the Nuggets are going to go through Minnesota.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be honest with you. This is where I do think that those injuries um will hurt um because yeah, because of the fact that I don't think they have enough. Yeah, I mean to hang with um the Nuggets. But yeah, if the Wolves don't win Game 6,
But let's be honest, the NBA love that it's Minnesota, Denver first round, but they don't want Minnesota to win.
are you saying that is rigged?
No, I'm not saying that it's rigged. I think for ratings, for for ratings and honestly matchup status, I'm telling you the most anticipated series when it inevitably gets to it that I believe it'll happen will be Denver versus San Antonio because you're going to get Jokic versus
Versus
Wemby.
Wemby. Yeah, yeah. Oh,
And I
by
think
the
that's going to be incredible basketball.
yeah. Oh, by the way, shout out to our boy Danhausen for uncursing the Knicks.
He did?
Yeah, he
I didn't
uncursed the
see that.
Knicks. Yeah, he
Oh,
uncursed the Knicks. Yeah, yeah. Someone gave him human money.
well, that's good. That's all
Yeah,
he asked for.
yeah, human money. My guy Danhausen. My guy. Yep. I do have a baseball thought before we go. Baseball's been fun. Um, me being a White Sox fan, I've been kind of looking forward to. I thought the White Sox would be at least they'll be better. I mean, they're not going into playoffs, but they'll be fun, right? And 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 their rookie sensation, Murakami, just oh my God, he leads the league, American League in home runs with 12. But just seeing where they are, um, it's fun to see. I just want to see them continue to progress. I want their pitching to get better. But most importantly, just how I was when the original rebuild happened with that team from 2018 to 2020-21. Do something to maximize the value of your players so you can make sure that you're competing multiple years and not just one or two. You know what I'm saying? So that's where I'm at. As far as the Cubs are concerned, I'm actually pretty impressed with the fact of where they are, considering the fact that they have no pitching because everyone's hurt.
Well, and again, me being more of a Cubs fan, I know more about the Cubs. I know more on the Cubs side than I do the Sox side.
Yeah.
Um, it's one of the things where it was questioned early on because they were just under 500, and then they went on the 10-game winning streak,
Hmm.
and then have cooled down since. They played the Dodgers, and then they
That'll
lost,
happen.
and then they lost last night against I think it was the Braves.
Padres?
No, Padres. Padres. Yeah, it was the Padres. But I mean, it's the one thing that I said was going to be their Achilles heel is specifically the bullpen.
That's where
Um,
it's killing them.
if the starter goes out and gets shelled for 3 or 4 runs, you can basically chalk the game up. With account of the bullpen just being so not good, and the 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 continued streakiness of the hitters. It's just it's been up and down with every single bat in the lineup for the most part.
Yeah.
So if they could find some consistency, I think the Cubs could be one of the fodder teams heading into the playoffs.
Yeah. No, I agree with that. I don't think they'll beat the Dodgers, but who knows? I mean, baseball's funny, man. Ba-
Who's going to beat the Dodgers? I'm
I can beat
sorry, I
them.
do not. I do not
I can
like LA.
I can beat them in the baseball video game. Just let me change the sliders a little bit.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
They put it on rookie.
Yep.
Man, I got him.
Yep. Actually, what's funny is that once in a while I'll get a memory on my phone of me throwing a perfect game with Michael Kopech on MLB The Show.
Oh my God, that's so funny. That's actually one of my buddies. He was like his favorite player for a while until he threw out his arm for like 6 years in a row.
Yeah, no, he couldn't stay healthy. Couldn't stay healthy. Yeah, I mean, every fifth day was Kopech Day, and White Sox fans used to enjoy that. And then he just became brittle and not a superstar anymore. But I still have that memory on MLB The Show where I threw my perfect game.
I I have the same type of deal. I threw a no hitter against my buddy with Kyle Hendricks.
Mm, yeah, and
Um,
like I never thought I would be nervous in throwing a perfect game or a no hitter in a video game, but it was strictly fastballs away. Like like no off speed stuff. I was just straight gassing.
well, I mean, what when you're constantly throwing 100 plus with a
Yeah,
guy,
yeah.
I don't see why you would go away from it.
Yeah, no, especially like the last like eighth and the ninth innings. Like it was just like no sliders, no curveballs, just straight fastballs.
Nothing off speed that somebody
N-
can get a bat on.
Nope, nope,
Just
nope.
it's funny when it gets to that seventh, eighth, and especially the ninth, and you go, you want to say something, but you don't want to say something.
Yep. And it got to a point where even like toward when I got in the ninth inning, I got up from my chair where I was playing video game. I got up from my chair just so I can pay it, so I can get more into it.
100% lock in.
Yeah. Yep. Locked in. Yep. Absolutely. Absolutely. Anything else?
No, I think we covered about all of it.
All right, cool. Like and subscribe. I'm at the bottom. If you have any comments, please leave those as well. That's Austin. This is Paul. We will catch you all on the other side.
See ya.